And welcome back to the IWAR Network Tubecast. I'm your host, IWL Commissioner Juan Cena, and with me this evening, CWL Commissioner Scott Anderson, BRL, NWL, and IWAR Commissioner Matt Riley. How you guys doing this evening?
I've been better, but I'm enjoying a beverage and ready to go.
All right.
We're still on the Ambien.
Good for you. Good for you. This cycle, we're going to combine the first take format and the IWAR Tubecast format, merge them together, and see what we get. So if you guys enjoy the new format, please let us know. If you don't like it, tell us that too. So we'll start off with the BRL cycle. 515 League Champion winning $50 in IWA credit. Misfit Messiah. TV Champion Extreme Icon Hannibal. Atlantic Champion 16, Central Champion Graham Sabrosa, Dixie Champion Nature Boy Tommy Landell, Eastern Champion Moscato Negro, Mountain Champion Hester, Northern Champion Misfit Puppet number 1, Pacific Champion Shocker Jimmy Electric, Prairie Champion Misfit Puppet number 2, Southern Champion Classy Ulrich Kennedy, Western Champion Frank Leatherman Snow, Tag Team Champions Colonel Dirk Vanderback and Sergeant Dagger Vanderback, TV Tag Team Champions Broken Willie, El Barbero, Six-Man Champions Jake Scarlett, El Dragoner Oro, The Russian Rocket, Alexei Smirnov, TV Six-Man Champions Sax Gotha, Nature Boy Tommy Landell, and Duke Nukem. So Matt, what's going down in the BRL?
Oh, there's tons going down. I want to note that this was Misfit Messiah's second championship this year, so that's $100 in out-of-it credit. And people may not realize this, but in the BRL, where there's a credit prize, there has been over almost $4,000, $3,861 given away since that started 97 cycles ago.
There it is.
And of that, $937 has gone to one guy, Mark Duchesne. You jerk. 10 wins to Keith Maple, 454. So I am a mere schmo with 279. But you know what? I always like to mention that, we have a good credit prize here. So if you win, enjoy it. So let's see what's going on. I'll mention this. Did you know that one of our regional champions hasn't been on the title page in over a year? So it's good to see the legendary Frank Leatherman Snow get off the schneid, as what's his face, Boomer used to say.
Yeah, he had a really good cycle this cycle.
Sure did. We'll talk about more than the other leagues too, but a really good cycle for Frank and his guys. I'm also very happy to see that Los Rudos, El Barbero, and Broken Willie retain this TV tag. TT-wise, a lot going down. Kind of give you a hierarchy look at the league because there's so much going on. The sides are kind of forming for one gigantic feud between the Disciples of Doom, led by Ghostly Shadows, and the Suburban Hell Savages, led by Punk Rock Mike. The most significant change is that we have Cowboy Jim Spur joining the Suburban Hell Savages. He's trying to redeem himself as a good guy nowadays, and that's leading up to a big showdown at a Magic Bash, which is coming up soon, folks. So send me your matchups, please. And let's see, that's also in other news. We have, I think Sir Gunther, this person debuted and said they were Gunther's cousin. I think it's just Gunther in a wig, pretending to be in the women's division, so that could get ugly. But we remember for a long time, Gunther had that vicious feud with Jane the Vixen Red, and now they're dating, so there's that. We have the triangle feud of sorts between Phantom Striker, the Extreme Icon Hannibal, and now Blood Money did the unusual thing of getting involved and helping Hannibal, their enemy, knock out Striker because Striker is interfering with their big money matchup. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this cycle's artistic endeavors, of which we have, first we'll go Elgato. And there's a picture of Elgato planning a vicious assault on Cowboy Jim Spur, in which he is teabagged. And there's a little teabag being dropped down. So if you go to the BRL Bulletin, look it up, the very last page. You will enjoy it. Almost as much as you will enjoy the artwork by Catfish Rob, Larry, Curly, and Mo, also known as the Deviant Erica Rockwell, the Star at Liberty Monroe, and the Hellion Roxanne O'Connor, who he did put the title belt on. So nicely done there.
I think they're accurate, to be honest.
Yeah. So that's sort of a high arc over. There's a lot going on as far as other things. But what did you notice?
I was going to mention my appreciation for the fantastic artwork of Catfish Rob. Just to reiterate, I thought it was hilarious that he made them look enough like them, but also not like them.
Right.
They look like my
And-
daughter's LOL dolls.
And just, Erica's got her mohawk, Liberty's got her little, partner hair. And as mentioned, there is the Double X title with Roxanne, although Roxanne looks like she currently has a slight malfeasance with her teeth there. Although I think he mentions that they need some teeth for all those guys they run off. But
Hey, does anyone know what a polecat is?
a polecat, I'm afraid to ask you.
I don't know. They mentioned it in the Catfish Rob's TT. I don't know what a polecat is.
Oh.
I'm from New York.
That sounds like a problem for Google.
Oh, polecats, if I had to guess, would involve this, just a guess. So I'm going to look it up on Google right now. But
Polecat is a weasel.
oh, okay.
All right.
I was going to say I thought maybe it had to do with something else.
Or it looks like it's a weasel type thing that kind of looks like a ferret.
All right. Terrific.
We don't have any of those up here.
No, of course not.
No. And then for me, to finish this off, I want to talk about two teams that recently debuted in the BRL. We have the Polish Legion. We have Jarilio. His record is 252, 171, and 25. He has $600,000 in iCash. He's 30 years old. He's 6'5", 220 pounds. He's from Krakow, Poland. He wants to eventually break out on his own and be a single star, but is worried that his partner wouldn't survive on his own. So he stays in the stable for now. Career start date was 2006 in the BWL, and his finishing maneuver is the Jag Bomb, which is a Batista Bomb variant. His tag team partner is King Jan III Zabisky. He is 211, 115, and 18. He has $433,000 in iCash. He is 18 years old. He's 6 feet, 210 pounds. He's from Warsaw, Poland. He's a whiny personality. He's a third generation wrestler. His father and grandfather had great success, but he feels the pressure of trying to live up to expectations. He's torn between living up to the family name and wanting to be the best he can. His career date was in 2006 in the BWL as well, and his finishing maneuver is the Besky Stunner.
Can I just, you said how old is he?
He is currently 18 years old.
And when did he debut?
In 2006.
Okay, go ahead.
Next up, we have the Swiss Land Legion, Joseph Simone. His record's 148, 24, and 5. He has $239,000 in iCash. He's 36 years old. He's 6'4", 260 pounds. He's from Hungary. He's obsessed with Warman, and he thinks he stole his gimmick and fame. Gravedigger is guilty by association, but he's more worried about taking those two out than winning the tag titles. His career start date was 2017 in the BRL, and his finishing maneuver is the Hussar Charge or Spear. And his tag team partner is Herman Bachman. His record is 39, 5, and 3. He has $86,000 in iCash. He is 24 years old. He is 6'2", 188 pounds. He's from Switzerland, and he's a slightly more serious type. Has his hands full with Joseph. All Bachman wanted to do is to be a wrestler. He's old school, even though he's young, and believes wrestling is all he needs. His career start date was in the ECL in 2015. His finishing hold is the Adieu, which is a People's Elbow variant. So we have two new teams in the BRL looking to make an impact.
Just check out this cycle for the results of the most recent round of matches for the division championships, and stay tuned for later in the show some big news to announce.
And then on another note, I just want to mention that I kind of feel bad for Venom Scott and what he did to that CWL scrub Juan Cena. That's kind of messed up to do that to that scrub.
It sure is.
Yeah, you think he would spend more time, focused on maybe perhaps Angelo Mark Smith or 16 or what have you. But hey, if you can only beat up a jobber, then you can only beat up a jobber. What are you going to do? Next up is the CWL Continental Wrestling League, number 217. CWL champion, Railroad Warrior Hammer. He wins 10 freeze matches, which means he retains. Network champion, Koenig. United States champion, Joe Boring. Yukon champion, Mr. Magnificent, Jay Montgomery. Caribbean champion, Death Warrant. Amazon Basin champion, The Standover Man. British Isles champion, Cowboy Sexton Hardcastle. Arabian champion, Dagger Bomb. South African champion, Fubar Snafu. Siberian champion, Forgotten Vagrants. East Asian champion, Dixon Ticonderoga. Oceanic champion, Friend Zone, Frederick Goodfellow. CWL Tag Team champions, Railroad Warrior Ty and Spike. Network Tag Team champions, Sexton Hardcastle and Blackjack Havana. CWL Six-Man champions, Railroad Warrior Hammer, Ty and Spike. And Network Six-Man champions, Joe Boring, Ricky Kyle, and Lauren Order. So, Mr. Anderson, what's going down?
Yes, sir.
In the CWL.
Quite a bit. So my first one, although I want to mention, I do want to say first, though, that I really was impressed with the totality of the CWL Trash Talk. If I could talk about all of it, I'd probably talk about all of it. But I like the new format. We're only going to talk about some of it. But just know, if I don't talk about yours, I probably thought it was still really, really good. First one I want to talk about is Milton Schnozbuster and Pokey McSnail. As I'm sure people who follow the CWL already know, these gentlemen are pretty funny. So if you have not had a chance to read it yet, the banter back and forth between Pokey and Milton definitely had me laughing quite a bit. Talk about several things. They talk about winning tag titles. They talk about the fact that there's a new commissioner. They talk about the Tantum division. And they poke a little good-hearted fun at, like, I'm not really sure I understand what he's trying to do here. It's pretty funny. If you get the chance to read it, I definitely recommend it. Honorable mention to Nasty Norman for his learning sign language. But right underneath that, I wanted to talk about Dixon Ticonderoga, who, by the way, was mentioned last cycle in, I think, at least 4 other Trash Talks, nice. Which I think tells you the amount of notoriety that the young upstart Ticonderoga is gaining, that he was included in so many Trash Talks. But he addresses Dagger Bomb here, good feud starting there. He talks about how he keeps having these other wrestlers want to be his mentor, but they're kind of leaving him hanging. I don't want to give away the ending, but the ending has him in front of a certain doorway. And so maybe he's made his decision. So also highly recommended to check that out. Finally, I wanted to talk about another one that made me chuckle a little bit was the TT from the new tag team of the Dragonheart Ray Converse and the Turkey Harley Brown. They came over from the XPL, but apparently Ray Converse has some sort of fascination with the Amazon Basin Championship, but not for the reason you might initially guess. He seems to think that the women who hang out at the Amazon Basin are of a certain persuasion, and so Converse is telling the Standover Man to be careful, because it's coming for that Amazon Basin title.
There it is. All right, Matt, what do you got?
I'm taking a look at the Forgotten Vagrant. Now, the Forgotten Vagrant, if you didn't know, was in quite the brouhaha last year with Barry Stevens, and he was then turned on suddenly out of nowhere by Joe Boring.
He's not a vagrant. He's a millionaire.
I know. Look at his money. He's earned a lot of money. But he comes out and does a lot of he kneels down in prayer, and he seems to be praying, and he sees the visage of the Ethereal Guardian. So the Ethereal Guardian, of course, was a very popular superstar in the CWL for a couple of years there.
Dominant, as be the word.
Very dominant, and then retired into the IWA Hall of Fame. Resting at the tree at the end of this segment where he gets some message, he is left with the Ethereal Guardian's ring gear. So could we be seeing a makeover for the Forgotten Vagrant? Could it be the Ethereal Vagrant? I don't know. Mystery. Stay tuned. Wow. So that stood out to me.
And then for me, I have a Dagger Bomb now. Dagger Bomb, former NWL graduate and standout Now he's calling out Dixon Ticonderoga and is challenging him to an Extremes Rules match at Wrestle Frenzy. I'm pretty sure that he's going to try to break Dixon in half.
No.
You know what? I quickly want to go through. I want to quickly go through the new scrub names in the CWL.
Yeah.
So I want to read them. I want to read them off real quickly, guys.
Yeah. Some of these, can I mention that some of these were named by the IWA, and then some of these were named by certain managers.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So we have Mr. Woodchuck, Chuck Wood, Barry Horowitz,
No.
Frantic, Frankie Chesterson, Mark the Mentalist, John J. Wesley, Punk Brogan, Dr. Powerful, The Human Compactor, Juan Cena, Boozer the Bruiser, Homebrew Baker, The Anti-Melterite, Richard B. Entley, Richard B. Entley, Mr. Terrible, Terry Reiser, Horace Race Better, The Destructinator, Andrew the Large, The Underwearer, Dean Shailerzine?
Yeah.
Dean Shailerzine?
There you go.
Lefty and Lefty O'Houlihan.
Okay. So since you brought it up, there's just one that I want to mention. A manager suggested the scrub name of Dick Bentley, and I thought to myself, I don't know if that would get IWA approval. So I adjusted it enough that it was Richard B. Entley. And I thought, I think that'll get by. And sure enough, he is now a scrub wrestler.
There it is. There it is. So
It is.
some great scrub names. Maybe I should do some new scrubs in the IWL as well, perhaps.
Never heard.
Well, because I did them in the NWL, so a while back. So
Yeah.
what are you gonna do, Mr. Anderson? What do you got for us, CWL wide?
So, just to run through several things as quickly as possible, we had the first round of the number one contenders tournament. There were a few wrestlers that lost because they were inactive. So, obviously, first priority is you have to be active. This cycle upcoming is the first cycle that someone could be eliminated if they didn't trash talk last cycle, or let's see, if you don't trash talk in May, which already is the one we're talking about, right? And you don't trash talk next cycle, you will be eliminated. So if you didn't trash talk in May, you need to trash talk next cycle in order to stay in the tournament. If you trash talked in May, you can miss 1 out of 5 and stay in. So that's the idea there. We not lost, but almost every Tantum team was eliminated. We're down to 3. That is on the CWL network page. If you have any questions, let me know. I will be looking at making at least one adjustment. I feel like going from 11 teams to 3 maybe was a little too harsh. So there will be an adjustment there. As far as the Trinity division went, like 3 teams were eliminated because they weren't in a single 6-man match. If you're not interested in staying in the division, that's totally cool. I want you to stay. But if you want out, that's fine. But there's no reason to list teams that are not interested. We have our new CWL broadcasters and reporters. Four corners.
Is it Felicia O'Neill? Is he in this?
It's not. She is. Felicia O'Neill is not. She's busy with her duties.
Yeah, she's busy, all right.
Come on. Four Corners Invitational. The only thing I want to mention with that, I think it got off to a really good, rousing start. The only thing I do want to mention, as is mentioned on the IWAR network page, a few of the NWL matches got switched around a little bit. There were a couple of first-round matches where both wrestlers were inactive. So what I did was I took the wrestlers that lost their first-round match but had the highest strategies of those 8 wrestlers who didn't win, and I placed them into the second round. So it's kind of like a second chance for them. And I'm not sure if anybody else received their CWL commissioner report with a blank page on the back. Apparently, the IWA thought that Joe Boring's trash talk was so bad that they would rather print a blank page than include it. So if you are interested in reading Joe Boring's TT, it is on the CWL network page.
And Wrestle Frenzy 4, and it takes place from the Olympic Stadium in Montreal, Canada. What made you pick the Olympic Stadium in Montreal?
Well, I wanted something that probably hadn't been done, and I was looking for large arenas in Canada, and the Olympic Stadium just popped out at me. I think it looks...
still up? It's not torn down?
Is it torn down?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
I don't think it is. I think it's still around.
No, because...
Don't do that to me, man.
Isn't that what the Expos played when they were a team?
Uh-oh. This just in. Montreal needs new venue.
Montreal Stadium. Let's see.
Torn down?
Nope, it's still in use.
There it is. All right, everyone rest easy.
All right, so the Montreal Alouettes play there still from the CFL, and the Montreal Impact from the MSL still currently play there.
There you go.
There you go. That's an old
Mr. Anderson
fucking
knows
stadium.
what he's doing.
That shit was built in 73. It's like probably one of the oldest stadiums in Canada. So next up is the IWL number 87 league champion, the Arabian Dreamer, Ali Atari. Woo! Television champion, Johnny Pronto. New York City champion, Winston Smith Jr. Los Angeles champion, Magnum TL. Boston champion, Elroy LaCroix. Detroit champion, Bobby Bishop. Cleveland champion, Graham Underwood. Dallas champion, Frederick Xavier. Memphis champion, Drunken Camper. Miami champion, Rex Rude. San Francisco champion, Luther Alexander. Chicago's champion, FL Slobberknocker. Tag team champions, blank 4 and 3, and they win 5 free matches. TB tag team champions, John and Isaac Slaughter. 6-man champions, Frederick Xavier, Graham Underwood, and Kenny Cage. TV 6-man champions, Marcus the Monster Monroe, Piper the Goofball Monroe, and the king of the IWL, Ulysses Monroe. So, Juan Cena, what's going down in the IWL?
Way to throw it to yourself.
Yeah, I know. I'm a married man, so it happens all the time.
Oh.
All right, first I want to talk about... the big man himself, Hostile Takeover, and what he did to the monster, Marcus Monroe. He broke his fucking leg. Fucking
My
Jesus
God.
Christ.
My God.
Pretty
Now,
vicious.
Marcus is a pretty big man to be walking around with that broken leg, so I'm curious to see what happens now. So it looks like Monroe versus TMS thing is really, really heating up. In addition, I want to talk about our good friend Tim Riggins III, and he's really going after Atari and his TT. Did a great job here. I don't know if Atari, although full disclosure, league champion this cycle, TV champion last cycle, correct? And
Yes.
You're current and defending Gold Federation champion. But I don't know if even he is tough enough to stand up to Tim Riggins III at this point. So we will see. And then lastly, for my third pick, Alec Von Schnapp. And he's not too happy that he's been teaming up with Luther Alexander. And he doesn't approve of the way that Luther competes. He constantly cheats and really is getting on their skin. And I'm wondering, going forward, if that team is not going to dissolve. He also issues a challenge to IWL star Johnny Pronto. And he wants to challenge him for that Puerto Rican championship at the next pay-per-view. So we'll see what Mr. Race has to say about that. So, Mr. Anderson, what do you got?
For the IWL, I wanted to talk about TJ Relic and as well as his partners, JJ Dallas and H. Del Imposter. Is it said like imposter? Is it said like imposture?
I mean, it doesn't have an accent on it, so I'm saying imposter.
Okay, imposter it is. So first, Relic talks about how his rivalry with Dr. Slam is not over. Looking forward to another chapter in
Because people got set on fire with that shit.
I mean, if somebody set me on fire, I don't think I would be finished.
And if anyone reads Dr. Slam's TT, he mentions how he's recovering from his injuries, by the way.
Yes. So, way to sell it, Dr. Slam.
Yeah, nice job.
Also, he talks about the LaCroix. He brought them into the IWL, and to thank TJ, they turned their back on him. So, he has not forgotten that. Also, they talk about how they haven't had as much success as they would like in six-man, but they are still going to be coming for the Midnight Society at large in addition to the Boys LaCroix. So they seem to extend an offer of alliance with the Monroes. The Monroes are currently outnumbered, so it will be interesting to see what develops between JJ, TJ, and H. Dell and the Midnight Society moving forward.
There it is. And Matt, what do you got for us?
Well, I'd like to recap some ground with Senior Lucha, who is hurtling to a final showdown against the Black Demon. As longtime IWL fans will remember, last year Black Demon Jr. showed up, took out all of Lucha's students, and claimed to be the son of Black Demon, the man that he says Lucha killed in the ring 20 years ago. So suddenly Black Demon Jr. disappeared. Black Demon showed up in his place in kind of a zombified look, claiming to be the same Black Demon that was dead. Well, Lucha's had enough, and he's challenging Black Demon to a mask versus mask match, and also hinting at possibly tying the knot with Medianoche, the one-time valet for Black Demon, and possibly mother of his child, because she claimed that Black Demon Jr. was his son.
There it is.
So all this and more in the next IWL.
Hey, how much money do you think Senior Lucha owes him back child support?
Oh, shit. Shh. Shh. Don't say that. Don't say that. Jinx it.
Ridiculous.
Oh.
So in addition, we have I'll give out the results for the last cycle's MSG League tournament. We had Graham Underwood and Kennedy Cage, who beat Haruki Fuji and Achilles Leos. We had Winston Smith Jr. and Piper Monroe. They defeated the Drunks. We also had Big Blank number 4 and Big Blank number 3, who beat Fortune 500, Anna McFleece, and Hostile Takeover. And we had Questionable Motives, our mystery team. They defeated Scott Farkas and Grover Dill. So, as we're hurtling down to the end of this event, don't forget that the winner of this event will get a shot at the IWC tag titles currently held by the Monroes. In addition, each wrestler will receive 10 free matches. Now, if you happen to run both wrestlers, you will get 20 free matches. And if you run half of them, you would get, 10 free matches. Don't forget that Wrestle Riot is coming up. That'll be Cycle 90. That means the matches will run Cycle 90 and the wrap-ups will be due Cycle 91. So keep that in mind. We have a lot of great matches coming up for that. We have Dakar Wolof taking on Graham Underwood, and that's for the IWL Heavyweight Championship. In addition, we have Frederick Xavier taking on Piper Monroe, and a unification match that will unify the South American Championship and the American Territory Championship. And we have Luther Alexander and Tim Riggins III taking on the Monroes, Piper Monroe and Larisses Monroe, and that will be a match for the IWC Tag Team Championship. We're going to have Ali Atari taking on Tim Riggins III. We're going to have Senor Lucha taking on Black Demon, and many more matches to be announced. Hey, Matt, by the way, did Dakar Wolof get his shot at the Revolution Championship yet?
He did.
And what was the result of that match?
Jay Red is still the Revolution champion.
Still?
I swear the luck on that one is amazing. If you didn't know the score, I'll pull it up right now, because what we do with this, just remind everyone, the Revolution title is kind of that catch-all championship. If you win an event, win a special tournament, you get a shot. Jane the Vixen Red came in with a score of 492, and you're thinking, wow, 492, that's prime for the picking. Unfortunately, he came in with a 489.
Man, she is the luck of the Irish.
There's been so many matches where it's like she'll pull a 490, 491, but someone else pulls a 488. It's like, oh, shit. So, Jane Red, still your champion.
I'll say it every time. Like, I don't care what my score is as long as my score is better.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll take a 481 if it means I win by 1 point. I don't care.
Hey, the 500 with Atari gets 25 free matches, but what if Lucha had it and he advanced? Ah.
Oh. Nice to see Bobby Bishop and Rex Rude back on the title page. Nice to see FL Slobberknocker make the title page. Nice to see Magden TL on the title page. So I'm real happy for those guys. Real happy that the Blanks won 5 free matches. Maybe they'll be closing up the gap on Tag Team of the Year, perhaps. Who knows? We'll see about that. So, again, overall, real happy with the TT this cycle. Real happy about where things are going. And just keep your eyes out for Wrestle Riot. It's going to be a riot. Next up is the NWL New Wave League number 114. League champion, Gary Galaxy. TV champion, AJ Sabotage. Atlantic champion, Dirty Mike without the boys. Central champion, Keelan Crash Wendorf. Dixie champion, The Chameleon. Eastern champion, Bruce Inferno. Mountain champion, Matthew Grabowski. Northern champion, Cyrus Valley. Pacific champion, Gadius Xantos. Prairie champion, Johnny WrestleFest. Southern champion, The American Patriot. Western champion, the author of Agony, LePage Turner. Tag team champions, Bruce Inferno, Gary Galaxy. TV tag team champion, The Prospector and Billy Joe Jim Bob. Six-man champions, Johnny Carnage, Keelan Crash Wendorf, and Jordan Drake. They win 5 free matches. TV six-man champions, Late Night Logan Kane, Dirty Mike, and Gagus Xantos. So, Matt, what's going down in the NWL?
Well, as you may know by listening to this, that this is my first cycle back as the commissioner of the NWL. So the new report was rolled out. The response was positive. But if you're listening to this and you're saying to yourself, hey, they say to join the Facebook page, and I haven't done it yet, go do it. Because once you do, we will put you in a, we call it the NWL rookie locker room. And it's just NWL players in a message thread on Facebook. And it's a great way, we were talking to some of the guys right before we went on the air, talking about their various wrestlers, getting their images, how they started in the game. It's a great way to get to know some of the players in the NWL. So far, so good. If you're not on board, please let us know. We'll happily add you to that list. And
we promise that no one will get stabbed in the shower.
Right. No one's going to get Bruiser Brody. Let's make it nice. I can't have nice things. So just a reminder to do that, please, and get more involved. I hope you liked the report. Also notice there's several times throughout where there are things set up for future events. We have our first Clash of the Champions pay-per-view, which just happened this cycle, but the write-up will be in next cycle. So you'll notice in the game that often we use the results to drive the write-ups. And it might take a little bit longer, but you can add some pizzazz to it. So you'll see that in the next issue. We also
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you going to bring back Rumble in the Bronx? That's everyone's favorite pay-per-view of all time.
It could happen. Who knows?
Because someone will die.
It's every year.
Don't forget that there's Scorpions. There's Broken Glass. Next year, I'm thinking about a rabid dog, just with rabies and shit.
Please check out the report. Contact me, email me. Also, be sure you check out the How to Win in the IWAR video, which just went live and is now nearing 200 views in 2 weeks? So thank you all for watching that and your comments. We do respond to your comments. There are several things NWL going on. I will just talk about a few of them right now. First is we had a new player join, Late Night Logan Kane, and his trash talk was phenomenal. Very well done. Put together a great promo, came out, set the scene, then beat the holy hell out of Cutter Carver. So setting up a feud right off the bat. Although Cutter Carver, who was very vocal last cycle, has fallen silent, so hopefully he's sticking around. We have other trash talk in here from LePage Turner, always fun read. We have the Blazer Corp, so Gary Galaxy, our league champion, along with fellow Blazer Corp, Bruce Inferno, and featuring Bookworm. There's just a lot going on. Of course, we have the team with no name, led by the wrestler with no name, and now his newest member and the next rising star of the NWL, Unleavened Bread.
Now, wait a second. Did you just say the next rising star, Unleavened Bread?
He's going to make a lot of dough.
Oh, brother.
So we're heading. Wait till you see the next. If you didn't notice, instead of a kind of a cover, I kind of do like a mash of pictures and kind of capture storylines. So wait till you see the next one. So, what did you guys think stood out for your trash talk in the NWL?
Well, I was going to talk about the Chameleons trash talk. I thought the first paragraph is really creative, first of all. The author of Agony, LePage Turner, wins a match, and suddenly the cameraman removes his hat, his wig, and a fake mustache, and it turns out it's the Chameleon.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. And then he also, underneath that, calls out several people, which, as has been mentioned before, is always a good idea. The more people you call out, the better chance you're going to have that somebody responds to you. So, talks about Mountain Dew Maniac. He says he knows his count was fast. Mentions LePage Turner again. Talks about Cutter Carver. Oh, yeah, he calls him out saying how cheap it was that he beat up the previous commissioner. And then he talks about Gary Galaxy not being able to talk very well because he's got that stupid space helmet on. So, I mean, so very good stuff from the Chameleon this cycle. Keep it up.
And I want to talk about Tubecast favorites, Big Bad Bob. Now, Big Bad Bob has a nice picture up. You know, he's in the UW. He's hardcore. He's a record of 119, 31, and 5. He has 2 stars. He's $183,500 in iCash. He's ranked number 4 in the NWL, and he's part of the Legion of Doom. Hold on. I gotta scroll to this other thing. And then we had the UW pay-per-view, apparently. He was coming out to Goldberg's music once again, and the arena fills with smoke, and the whole time everyone is chanting. But, you know, he's wearing a full black head mask. His eyes are covered with black mesh, and his wrists are taped with black tape. He's wearing black boots, black knee pads, black trunks, and a full-length black leather jacket from the shoulders to the ankle.
Oh boy.
The last cycle, Big Bad Bob spine-busted AJ Sabotage through the table. This cycle, he has a sight on somebody else. Timothy Zabampowski has attracted Big Bad Bob's attention. Big Bad Bob turns and heads backstage looking for Zabampowski in every room. Bob turns a corner, finds Zabampowski buying a protein shake from a vending machine. Big Bad Bob runs over, grabs Zabampowski, rams his head, rams him head first into the vending machines. Glass and bottles go everywhere. Zabampowski is busted open, and the crowd is chanting, Big Bad Bob, Big Bad Bob. Big Bad Bob grabs an empty beer can, I don't know if he drank it or not, and smashed it against his forehead. And the crowd continues to chant his name. So, Big Bad Bob kicking butt, and
yeah, I will say Big Bad Bob is you know, the violence in the NWL has certainly cranked up between Big Bad Bob, the Chameleon making an attack, and of course I shouldn't forget to mention one of the hottest feuds is Timothy Zastampowski taking on Death. And they've been going back and forth, and now they're coming up with, they want this triple threat match where it's like 3 types of specialty matches in one. It's going to be a bloodbath, and that's a big feud. And of course, I couldn't forget to mention that poor Art Deco, who was a faithful steward of the NWL, got beat up by the Giants again. The Giants, please, I'm asking you, reach out to us. Let us help you with your strategies. God, they're awful.
Well, they also stole Jordan.
Their average
Jordan
is
Drake's
350.
belts. They stole the belts.
Yeah, guys, if you want to actually win the belts, I can help you get there. So please reach out to us. I'll happily help you. Watch the video, and look, we want you all to do well. But when you're doing like 350s and 360s and 370s for scores, trust me, just let us help you. We'll get you there.
What do you got NWL wide, Matt?
Well, we're building up to some larger things. I will get a preview or go into the next big IWAR event because it is rookie-centric. BRL over the past 6 years has run the ARC All-Rookie Cup. And as a way to kind of recognize rookies across the IWAR, we're going to run it, but this time it's going to be one half of just NWL's best. And then it's going to be one half of the IWAR's best. So the best rookies from the CWL, IWL, and BRL that are deserving to be in this event. And they're going to go head-to-head, and we're going to have a finish where it's, one super rookie getting kind of known. And I think what will be nice is that every year this will be a different tournament. You won't see the same faces ever again. So it'll be a nice way to, have some wholesale talent recognition for the rookies.
So, Matt, what do you got for us, IWAR wide?
Well, the Johnny B Cup is rolling into the next round, and let me tell you, fans, it's excitement. Let me pull it up here. Bing. Well, there it is. Okay. The Johnny B Cup is down to 8 wrestlers, and this past round, Mike Sebastian pulled the Jane the Vixen Red and once again found a way to survive despite a crummy strat to advance to face Roxanne O'Connor, who took down Punk Rock Mike by 1 point. So that's the BRL final. Over in the IWL, broken-legged Marcus Monroe got by god-awful How to Win That Away video strat, Senior Lucha, to face Dr. Slam, who took down Jax Molson. So it'll be Dr. Slam versus the burn victim versus Marcus Monroe for the IWL final. In the CWL, it's a battle of teammates as Joe Boring defeated Ricky Kyle to advance. By the way, Joe Boring in his first 3 rounds here, 497, 496, 496.
Jesus.
Yeah. Versus Lauren O'Dur, another member of his team, the Elite, who had a 497, 497, and then I, of course, typed over the things. I lost his strat this cycle, but he advanced over Nasty Norman Krasner, last year's winner. So there will be a new winner this year, as both former winners, Lucha and Krasner, were eliminated. Over in the NWL, we had Johnny Carnage defeating Alabaster by 1 point, 490 to 489. And then over in the other bracket, it was Tim Zastimpowski getting by Jordan Drake, who had an either-way botch of his strategy, but even with the adjusted scoring, he still lost by. So the final in the NWL is Tim Zastimpowski and Johnny Carnage. So one of those 8 wrestlers will be this year's winner. So stay tuned, folks. And again, remember, the prize package is broken down by finish of players. So even if you have the same manager running all the wrestlers in the finals, it'll be broken down by your finish. So it'll be a nice way to break the prize out. Then over in the Murano Memorial, we have Suburban Hell Savages getting by the team of Xander and Zimis. So Punk Rock Mike and Agent 26 will face Bad Company, who got by Erica Rockwell and Liberty Monroe. We will have in the IWL bracket, Graham Underwood and Kennedy Cage taking on Alexei Smirnov and Jake Scarlett. In the CWL bracket, it's the Von Schnapps, who got by Dixon Titongaroga and Ricky Kyle to face Garrett Shadowstar and David Hammerhead, who beat Questionable Motives, Mr. Magnificent, Jamie Montgomery, and the Extreme Icon Hannibal. And it should be noted that the Von Schnapps were once the dominant team in the CWL, and once they left, the team that became the top team is Garrett Shadowstar and David Hammerhead. So a little past and present hitting there. Over in the NWL, what would the big event of the year be without some botchings? So it resulted in a triple threat match between the Wrestler with No Name and Alabaster, the Prospector and Billy Joe Jim Bob, and Jordan Drake and Keelan Crash Wendorf. And, of course, the screwed-up strategy meant that, to be fair, both the Prospector and Billy Joe Jim Bob and Jordan Drake and Keelan Wendorf advanced to the final round, where the other bracket, it was Johnny Carnage and Derek Dark, who were defeated by the Railroad Express, who will be in the final of the NWL. So one of these three teams, either the Railroad Express, Jordan Drake, Keelan and Crash Wendorf, or the Prospector and Billy Joe Jim Bob will advance to their final next round. So we're getting there. It's almost crash time. So that's the Murano. Going over to the Summer Series, which will start next cycle, which is in June, which is literally tomorrow. And we have the following wrestlers signed up. The Arabian Dream Ali Atari, Money Driven Mike Sebastian, Punk Rock Mike, Graham Underwood, The Black Superstar Bobby Bedlam, Agent 26, Pastor Payne, Patrick O'Malley, The Wrestler with No Name, Misfit Messiah, Death, Late Night Logan Kane, Dixon Ticonderoga, Winston Smith Jr., Mr. Magnificent Jimmy Montgomery, Joe Boring, Luther Alexander, Mascara Negro, Fortune 500 Aaron McFleece, Gary Galaxy, Timothy Zastampowski, and Ghostly Shadows. That's 22 wrestlers. We'd like a few more, but that gives us a prize pool at $5 per entry of $110. That purchases approximately 9 IWA match deals, or you can, if you prefer, get a championship belt, a real championship belt, with a value as close as possible to $110. Whatever, depends on what the money is, we'll use that. So that's your options. So you might say to yourself, what am I going to do with the belt? I'll just have it sitting on the shelf. Or you can say, hey, I could have IWA match deals for almost a year. Pretty good. So what's going to happen in this event, the next thing that's set up is we're going to have people paired off in matchups. First by rivalries. So if there's any rivalries, they'll go head-to-head. And if not rivalries, they'll go by closest proximity of talent. So we'll have matchups based on your last 3-cycle average of strategy. I think it's a fair way to kind of match up people up head-to-head without creating crushing one-sided matchups. So that's the Summer Series. I'm making my little list here. Shing, shing, shing. Talked about the All-Rookie Cup. Should be noted that the IWAR championships were just defended, and the champions, I think we talked about the new champion already because you just saw the last issue with the cover of Graham Underwood, who became the new champion, because what doesn't Graham Underwood win? So that's noted. But we should note that the 6-man champions, Russian Roulette with Dragon de Oro, did manage to withstand the challenge from the Elite out of the CWL by mere points to retain the 6-man championship. So more on that to come.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. And gentlemen, do we have anything else that we want to mention before we close up shop this cycle?
I think we covered it pretty extensively.
All right. All right. Sounds good to me. So, guys, we will be checking you guys out next cycle. So, for Matt Riley, for Mr. Anderson, I'm Juan Cena.